Happy New Year's, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Welcome to 2024. If you guys been following my journey for the last year and so, I've been sharing you my story about the last 2 decades that I've spent in the penitentiary. Well, for this year, I've introduced you to my wife a couple videos ago. So I want to share it with you, take you on the journey of how her and I met and the ups and downs that we went through to get to this point where we're married. And I like to think that we're in a happily marriage, right? Happy marriage. But as you know, in 2005, I was in the shoe. I spent a lot of time in the shoe. And I had a friend, Charles Freeman, that was Jewish. And he turned me on to this Alpha Institute, which is a pen pal program that keeps the Jews on the inside connected with the Jews on the outside. But obviously, looking at me, I'm not Jewish, right? I'm Cambodian. And I said as much. But he's like, man, they don't matter. Just fill out the form. And he kept pressing me to fill out the form. So I did. And I put in there that I'm not Jewish. And in there, they ask you, who what kind of person you want to talk to. You put their interests in there. I like things that are outdoor, fishing, hiking, which is like totally opposite of her. She's allergic to the sun. But I told him that I wasn't Jewish, that I was Cambodian, and I submitted my request. And
So 2005, I was living in Seattle, learning how to tattoo, and my mom called me and asked me to do this program as a mitzvah, which is a good deed. And I was raised in the synagogue, but my mom converted to Judaism when I was 4, and when I was a teenager, when I was 17, I kind of started exploring my own spirituality. So I was hesitant to sign up for this just because I don't know. I only did it because my mom asked me to. So I wrote the Alpha Institute back or to them, and I told them that I was raised Jewish, but that I don't practice and I haven't been to synagogue in 13 years. So they gave me 3 pen pals who were also not practicing Jews.
I was one of the names that they gave her. And she said the names of the other 2 guys, they've been waiting on the list for years. I was in the shoe about around the summer. So maybe I filled out this form maybe in June or July. But when I got out of the shoe in October, a few weeks before Halloween, I received my first letter, which I'll read to you guys right now. It's the letter that I got from her. And it reads, "Hello, Mesa. My name is Laura. I got your name from the Alpha Institute. I guess they think we might have some interests in common. You have to forgive me if my first letter is a little clumsy. I've never written to someone I didn't know before. I have recently moved to Seattle for work. I've been here all summer and love it. Today is the first day the sky has turned dark with the threat of rain. I've been looking forward to the change in weather, but I'll soon find out how I really feel about it when it doesn't stop raining for 3 months. I am a tattooist and a body piercer. I work in a wonderful shop with all women. It is a very creative and comfortable environment. I feel very fortunate to work here. I've been piercing for almost 9 years and started tattooing about a year ago. My favorite pastime is reading. I love historical fiction, some fantasy, and some mystery. I'm interested in politics and all religions, although I don't involve myself in heated discussions about either. I'm going to close for now, otherwise, I might not have anything to say if you reply. Please include my Please include any mail restrictions or anything else I should know. Sincerely, Laura."
So what do you think when you got that?
Well, like I said, I filled out the form about June or July, came out of the shoe, and it was in the back of my mind. Well, not really in the back of my mind. I haven't thought about it until the lady that worked at the CO opened up my door and threw the mail at me. I get newspaper. I get the USA Today, so I always get mail every day. But I've had pen pals and stuff through the course of my time. That
What pen pals?
well, friends of
Just kidding.
friends of
I screwed you.
friends, sisters of friends, or whatever that would write just to even like my siblings. But after a month or so, or after a few times, they go on about their lives. And for me, I didn't really was concerned about the outside world anymore because I had to do 26 years, and for me to be able to get through that, I just had to just focus on the time in my environment. So I really didn't think that anything was become of it. And when I got it, I was a little surprised. And out of respect for the person that wrote me that evening when I got locked back down, I replied to the letter.
I think it's interesting that you say, when you're writing your family or whatever, that it's easy to fall off because you already know everything about each other. And so now it's just, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Um, these letters are cool because we don't know anything about each other. And it's an opportunity to just open up. All right, so here's his letter. Let me show you what it looks like. I probably can't focus, but his handwriting is really beautiful. Um, Somehow it kind of reminds me of my grandmother's handwriting.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's just classy, It's
Okay.
spelled out classy. I need these glasses. Okay. It says, "Hi Laura, thank you for writing. I didn't really think I'd actually hear from anyone, so this is pretty cool. You haven't been clumsy, so there's nothing for me to forgive. If anything, I must commend you on your bravery, because I'm not sure if I would write someone I didn't know, and they're in prison too. So again, thank you for taking a chance, and I hope not to be so boring. I must say you are the first female tattooist and the only body piercer I've ever come across. So you can imagine my curiosity. Are you a good tattooist? And since you tattoo and body pierce, does that mean you have tats and body piercing? I have a couple of tats on my shoulders, but no piercings of any kind. I'm not real fond of needles, and I'm less fond of how they feel when you're getting inked. And still, I've been contemplating on getting my back done. There's a few people here that can get down, so we'll see what happens. I can draw pretty well, and I'd like to learn how to tat. It's good money in here. But I seem to be having some trouble finding someone to be my first. I had a couple of close opportunities, but they chicken out the day we're supposed to get down. So right now, I've kind of hung it up. I do still draw every now and then. You said you've recently moved to Seattle. Do you mind if I ask where was it that you was living before? I've lived in California and Utah. Utah is the better place for me. I like the fact that Utah has all four seasons as to California's summer or rain. I've never been to Seattle, but I've been to Portland. Portland is pretty. I like the greenness of it. I was there during November, so you can guess that there wasn't much sunshine. Don't get me wrong, I like a good rain. I like the way the air smells and feels after it rains. But day after day of gray weather just became sad. I hope that won't be too bad for you. Well, Laura, maybe you and I have some interest in common, or maybe we don't. Either way, I'd like to find out, and if there's anything you wish to know of me, feel free to ask. I like to read historic stuff, historical people and cultures. I'm fascinated with religion of all sorts, the concept of God, good and evil, afterlife, and all that stuff. And like you, I try to avoid debates on the subject, though I do welcome different perspective. I like reading philosophy, even though I don't have a clue on some of the things they talk about. It's just cool that some people have the ability to put thoughts into words the way philosophers and poets do. Well, Laura, I think I've taken up enough of your time for now. Take care, Mesa. P.S. You can't send more than 5 photo pictures in a letter at a time. No books or magazines unless they come from the publisher. Also, if I don't write back in a reasonable amount of time, it's not that I have so much to do or anything. It's most likely the mailroom. For one reason or another, the mailroom here has a habit of holding people's mail. As of right now, it's October 19th, and I just got your letter today. Hope to hear from you soon, and thank you for the card.
Well, after I wrote her, like a month and a half later, I got myself caught up in the shoe. And if you guys are interested in what happened at that time, just go to my Welcome to the USP series. And while I was in the shoe, I got the second letter from her. And her second letter reads like this: Hello, Mesa. I hope this letter finds you in good spirit. I want to apologize for not replying to your letter sooner. Yeah, it's been like a couple months, right? My life has been very hectic lately. A few months ago, I decided I would take 2 weeks off to visit my mother over Thanksgiving. But what seemed like a good idea
Prosperity.
in the prosperity of summer started to become a worry as things began to slow down. I also decided that I was going to go back to San Diego in the middle of December, which is where I've lived my previous 3 years. And to top all this off, my younger brother, who is 25, just found out he has testicle cancer. He has two young daughters, and our father died of cancer when he was 5. So this is very scary for my family. The day before I went on my trip, he had surgery, and they haven't found they haven't found the cancer anywhere else, but he is going to start for 4 weeks of radiation just to be sure. The doctor says this type of cancer has a 98% survival rate, so we are all hoping for the best. On a lighter note, I've only I've only really been tattooing for a year, but I think I'm doing very well for someone in her first year. I don't think I'm a great artist because I have a hard time creating out of my head, but that's what's good about tattooing. Someone else's brings me the idea that I have, and I draw something for them. I have so much to learn, but I love it. I cannot imagine having a better job. I have a friend who is an amazing tattooist, who is in prison again. So I know there has to be some very talented artists. But what is your equipment made out of? You can always tattoo your own legs until you get good enough that others will trust you. I would love to see some of your drawings. I can send them back to you. I'll include a copy of some drawings I did for a woman. She only got one of the designs, but I had to keep drawing until we came to the smallest one with the flowers. In my opinion, it is the worst, but that's what she wanted. We would have more in common than you think. My birthday is the 21st of January, 1976. I don't pull out I don't put all my faith in zodiac signs, but I do think it's interesting. You seem to be fairly educated for someone who has been in prison since they were 16. How did that come about? Do you have family who write or come to visit? And of course, I'm curious to know what you did to land yourself in prison for 30 years. But you don't have to tell me now or ever if you don't want to. I suddenly feel as though I'm writing a book. I hope to hear from you again. Until then, take care of yourself. Happy holidays, Laura. Yeah, when I got this letter, I was already in the shoe for a month or so, and I'm waiting to hear my sentencing. You know, when you go to your shoe, they give you like 60 days, 90 days, 120 days, and so on. But yeah, it was nice, like again, when I write, signing up for the Alpha Institute, I didn't, I think I was going to get a letter, and right now I got two of them. So it's pretty cool so far.
So here's his second letter. He did a really nice drawing on the back. Oh, I wish that I could focus it. It says, Dear Laura, it's nice to hear from you again. For a minute there, I thought maybe I said something wrong or something. I'm glad it's not so. I'm sorry to hear about your brother. I'm at a loss for words. I've never been any good at this kind of stuff. I only wish that no one has to ever go through these kind of things. I'm deeply sorry that this happened to you and your family. I hope things turn out for your brother, and I hope that you are well. I really like your drawings, and I think they're cute and cool. The one I like most is he did like a little sketch of my drawings. Anyways, um, I like this one the most. I didn't know how to describe it, but this is the one I like best. Of course, yours is much better. I don't draw as much as I used to, and the few drawings that I do, I send them home to my family or give them away. Right now, I have an unfinished drawing of a dragon that I've been too lazy to finish, but I will, and when it's done, it's all yours. Just one thing though. You might not be getting it for a while because as of right now, I've been placed in the SHU, Special Housing Unit. It's a disciplinary unit in the prison. You're locked in your cell 24/7. 4 times out of the week, you get to go out into a cage for an hour each time for some fresh air. They got me in here for pending an investigation for an altercation that happened when I was out on the yard. I don't know how long I'll be here, hopefully no more than 3 to 4 months, though they can keep me back here for up to 12 months before they decide what to do with me. And then they'll either let me back on the yard or ship me off to a new prison. And when you go back and when you're back here, you don't get nothing but the bare necessities. Not even a pencil, only a flimsy little 3-inch clear pen that ain't worth a damn to write with. When I do get back out on the yard, I'll be putting my tack gun together using a motor from a beard trimmer, the outer body of a pen, and a guitar string for the needle, and a couple of AA batteries. And yes, there are some pretty talented people in here. I had my left shoulder hit up about 2 years ago. I'll be sure to take a picture of it so you can check it out. To answer some of your questions, I do keep in touch with my family. It's mostly by phone, and my little brother Mitana just came and visited me about a month ago. My parents came to see me back in August. They've been to see me once since they've been here. It's hard on my dad to see me in a place like this, so I don't mind that I don't see them as much as I would like to. My birth mom died when I was 4 back in Thailand. My dad remarried, and the woman that is now my mom is my mom in every way. She's a beautiful lady, and I'm grateful for her. I only wish that I could have been as good a son to her as she is a mother to me. I have 3 brothers and 1 sister. I'm the oldest and the only one that gets in trouble. I've been getting myself in trouble playing with guns since I was 16 or 17. I got locked up in kitty jail my first time for having an AR-15 machine gun. Did 9 months, got out for 3 months, and went to prison for 2.5 years for having a shotgun. Got out in May 98, got caught up in a few things, and went back to jail in 98 for bank robberies. And been here ever since. I'm not as dumb a criminal as you might think. I've never been caught for anything, but my partners in crime ends up telling on me to get themselves out of jams. Something I refuse to do no matter what I'm facing. So there you go. And yes, I've learned my lesson. No more crime partners with a smiley face. I've been, before I let you go, get back to what you were doing, you said that we might have more in common than I think. I so happen to think that you and I might have a whole lot in common. Anyways, you mentioned your birthday and zodiac sign. I know your zodiac sign is Aquarius and that mine is Taurus, but beyond that, my knowledge of zodiac signs and their relations are limited. You know you've got my curiosity. So if you would please elaborate. Waiting to hear from you, Mesa. I wish you the best this holiday season.
Well, I'm a tourist on my American ID. When they created my ID, when I first came to America, they asked my dad when my birthday was, and he said, Kai Mesa. Mesa
Is the
it,
month of
is
April.
the month of April. I was actually born on April 3rd, 1977, but
Documents.
on my documents it says May 3rd, 1977. So I'm really an Aries instead of a tourist.
Taurus.
Tourist,
A
whatever. I'm not a
tourist.
turtle. Is that a turtle? A Taurus?
That's a tortoise.
Tortoise? I'm an Aries. Is
English
that
is hard.
is that the guy with the arrow? Aries? I'm the Aries, right? Guy with the arrow?
No, that's Capricorn.
Oh, so what's the sign of an Aries?
A ram.
Oh, I guess I'm a ram.
Is that right?
No.
I don't know.
I'm an Aries.
Anyways,
Yeah.
the Alpha Institute had sent me some information about him, and it said that his birthday was January 24th or 26th or something, which is just a few days after mine. So I brought that up because I thought we were both Aquarius.
We're not. I'm
We're
an
not.
Aries. I'm an Aries. So I'm in the shoe, pending an investigation. I'm waiting to go to my DHO hearing, which stands for Disciplinary Hearing Officer. They're the one that sanctions you. But I got that second letter from her, and I wrote her back. So I'm in the shoe, waiting for to hear my fate. Waiting for the DHO hearing. The DHO stands for Disciplinary Hearing Officer. They take into account of what you got written up for. I got written up for stabbing somebody on the yard. The guy disrespected me, came into my cell. So in response, me and my cellie went and stabbed him. I punctured his lungs, and but fortunately, by the grace of God, that he lived. I'm already doing a 26-year sentence. It would have really sucked if I got like 10 or 20 more, you know, tacked onto it. But you know, it was nice to have somebody write and correspond with while I'm sitting in the shoe for all the months waiting to hear my fate. So the third letter I got from her was reads, "Hello, Mesa. I hope you're doing well. My life just keeps getting better and better. I got a job in San Diego and was going to return for the relationship I have been in for the last 7 years. A week before I was supposed to leave, we broke up. I guess if a relationship of that length can't stand a 6 month separation, it's better not to be in it. Today, my sister is flying in, and we are going to drive to Denver tomorrow. I have no plans on staying in Seattle by myself. I would much rather be with my family. My sister has a 12-year-old son who I miss a lot. I lived in Denver for 10 years, so I have a lot of friends there. I think it will be good, and I plan on going back to the shop I first learned to pierce in. Well, I'll make this a short one. Happy New Year's, Laura."
I didn't leave that relationship. I just went to Seattle to concentrate on tattooing, and I was either going to go back to San Diego, which I had made plans to do after I found out that my brother had cancer. I didn't want to be alone in Seattle anymore, and yeah, it's just I don't know. Things don't work out. Things are what they are, I guess. So, yeah, I went back to Denver, and it took me a little while to find a job. I'm a brand new tattooer, and even though I was doing pretty good, I still had like some apprehensive feelings about like just getting a job anywhere tattooing. So here's his next letter. Dear Laura, and this one's dated. We didn't date all of our letters, but this is December 27th, 2005. Dear Laura, hi, thanks for thinking of me. I hope you are doing good and that things are better. I'm sorry to hear about your breakup. I have no idea how it is to be with someone for that long a period. I would think after 7 years people would end up married or something like that. It's if it's anything to you, I would say it's his loss. Just in case you ask, my longest relationship was 3 months. It's not something I'm proud of. I've had two girlfriends in my time, and we were together about 3 months both times before I got myself locked up. My first girl was someone I've known for a few years. We were good friends. We went to the same church, and she was friends with my family. So, of course, we had to end up together. I thought we was going to make it. Make it. I really did. But she couldn't handle the 2.5 years I had to do on my first bid. My second girl, almost the same story. We knew each other since 93 and got together a few months after I got out in 98. Of course, I ended up in jail again. Story of my life. She stuck around till I got sentenced. I think she might have been good to handle 5 good years, but that was pushing it. It's been 7 now, as of December 15th, and I last spoke to her June of 2002. I have no complaints. I can't say what would have been if I stayed out, but at least we ended on good terms. It's 10:22 p.m. right now, the last hour or so of 2005. It's crazy. If you asked me in the beginning of this bid how I'll be 7 years down the road, I'd tell you by now I'd most likely have lost my mind or something to that effect. Never in my life did I ever imagine doing this much time, let alone be in good state of being throughout it. Um, it is sad and most of all frightening how well I've adapted to this environment. I would like to say that it has been a long 7 years, and even though I felt every hour of every day of it all, looking back now, I can't believe it's really been 7 years that has passed. Now I kind of understand the reality and truth to it when people say, where did the time go? It almost seems like half of your life been lived in a blink of an eye. I wish you, Laura, the happiest of New Year's. I would also like to encourage you to take chances and enjoy your newfound freedom. Have fun, Mesa. P.S. Sorry I wrote the address wrong and it just and it just got back 12006.
Yeah, return mail only takes about 3 to 5 days, but when you get return mail, the people at the front office that does the mail, they like to keep it. So I'm thinking, so I'm sitting there like, damn, how come she ain't wrote me back? But going to find out, my letter never got out until a month later.
He also drew this. Hmm.
See that?
It's too bad you can't.
I think you can see that. You can see that.
I don't, it's just not focused very well. Maybe up here by our faces.
Well, I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. That was the first 3 letters on how we first met 19 years ago, 17 years before I came home. It took a lot of convincing to invite my wife here on camera with me to share our stories. Because, like you say, some of these things that are in these letters are real personal and intimate. But for me, I think it's a beautiful story, and that maybe there's people that's in our situation right now. Somebody that's got a husband or a boyfriend or somebody they care about that's incarcerated, and they're not sure how they're going to be able to make it. And I hope that them hearing our letters and the ups and downs that we go through maybe would help them and inspire them and encourage them to stick with it. Because if you find somebody that you really care about, you know, don't let them go because they're not physically here with you. There's ways to connect beyond the physicality. And you can take advantage of the opportunity. I mean, it's not, anything. I don't mean to say like, yeah, it's great you guys are writing letters, but through letters, as opposed to just being here present with each other, you're able to share part of yourself that you might not otherwise. And it gives you an opportunity to get a deep understanding of each other. And then, for sure, if you can make it through those years just writing letters, then there's nothing out here that can break you apart. So thank you for coming along on this journey home. Thank you.